G'day there guys, I learn from the mistakes of people who take my advice, and on that note, welcome to another episode of r/AmiTheA. If you enjoy today's content, tell me what you think about it down below in the comments. I love your face. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Posted by user KittyKittyThrow. Titled, Would I be the a-hole if I broke up with my girlfriend over my cat's mental health? I've been with my girlfriend, we'll call her Molly, for about 4 years, lived together for 3. Earlier last year, our 17-year-old cat lost her battle with cancer. I've had cats my whole life and adopted her as a senior before meeting Molly. Molly never had cats before but adored her and started talking about adopting immediately. About 6 months later in December, she found a youngish, like 7 months old, feral male who got a nasty but recoverable injury sleeping under a car hood. She fell in love immediately, and so did I. I tried to give her the benefit of my experience, and told her that this isn't going to be the same as adopting an adult cat who already has a sweet personality, and this kitten will require a lot of patience. She said she understood, and we started fostered to adopting him as soon as the vet gave us the go-ahead. I still love him, but he's highlighted every single thing that's been keeping us from getting engaged. For one, Molly refuses to listen to him. He growls, he hisses at her. She started yanking him out of his carrier so often that he's afraid to go in there now. She doesn't listen to me when I try to explain what she could do to get him to warm up to her. She keeps bringing up examples of people she knows who got a cat to like them this way. I work at home, and he's a completely different cat when I'm at home and she isn't. He plays and sits in the window when it's just me and runs under the bed the second she gets home and only comes out to eat. I've suggested to her that we need to start seriously thinking about finding him another home before he gets too old and too scared. Every single time I bring it up, she accuses me of being callous and giving up on him too easily, and how she never knew pets were so disposable to me. They're not, but she's not a good fit for him. So at this point, I'm beginning to think that his best shot is me breaking up with her and taking this poor cat with me. Our relationship isn't that solid, but I think it might be fixable if it wasn't for this. But he's a living being and deserves to be happy too. TLDR, my girlfriend and I adopted a cat and she makes him miserable. She thinks it'd be cruel to rehome him, so I'm seriously considering breaking up with her and taking him with me. Would I be the a-hole? To her, of course, because she doesn't see the damage she's doing to this cat, so at least to her you'd be the a-hole because she wouldn't understand what you're doing since she can't even understand how to look after a cat properly. So the only one you're hurting is her, and it doesn't seem to me like this relationship is on the best of terms anyway. You would be the a-hole if you continued to let her abuse this cat though, that's for sure. I do think that you should break up and take him with you and save this poor damn cat, because she obviously doesn't know what she's doing, and she's not taking your words of advice seriously. So yeah, you wouldn't be the a-hole if you did that. Not the a-hole, and I'd say the cat isn't even the issue. Rather, having this cat has highlighted her crappy personality. So no, you wouldn't be the a-hole for breaking up with her. This, and I know it's a stretch and a leap, but if she can't handle a little feral kitten rejecting her, what's she gonna do down the road when it's a baby crying non-stop or wanting cuddles from someone that isn't her? This is what I was thinking. She's going to resent him if they have kids together because they listen to him and she can't connect with them like he can. Absolutely this. Kids go through stages with their parents when they're really young. They will want nothing to do with dad or mum for a few weeks or longer, and all of a sudden they'll switch. Even for your average parents it can be tough, let alone someone like this, not the a-hole. Hearing you the wrong parents when I went to comfort my crying 3-year-old is something we laugh about because we were both secure people. I'd hate to think how Molly would take it. She wouldn't take it very well, and would probably get mad at anyone that gave her advice, including him. She's not fit to have kids with at all. Not the a-hole, she's the issue, not the cat or you. She's borderline abusive to that cat. Yup, and if OP wants to have kids, this woman is not the right person to have kids with. You're the a-hole. I know I'm going against the grain here, but I've done a decade of fostering, rescue, and adoptions for cats, and I think you're doing this the wrong way. I mean, break up with her if you want to, that's fine, whatever. But it sounds like she wants to try to fix the problem, which is her relationship with the cats, and has talked to her animal-savvy friends about it. While she should be listening to you, it kinda seems like she's decided your advice doesn't work, and maybe it doesn't. Seeking other opinions and doing research is how you should approach living with a new animal for the first time. Even if your partner is an expert, you should be seeking outside sources of information and not just relying on them. And let's be real, you aren't an expert, you're just an experienced cat owner. While yanking out of a carrier doesn't sound good, lots of cats hate carriers. Your cat probably associates his carrier with pain since he's been in and out of the vet with an injury, and sometimes a little, gentle, not injurious, manhandling is how you get a resistant cat into and out of a carrier. In the interest of acknowledging that this is a one-sided story, I'm not crying animal abuse because a cat is afraid of a carrier. Although you should check to see if your carrier can be unscrewed on top, which is a much easier way to get them out. Getting them in is still just as tough, although there are now zip tops and mesh top carriers for easy access. Can you clarify more what she does that the cat doesn't like? All you really say is that she doesn't listen to you, but what does she do that the cat doesn't like? Cats that don't like you usually vanish, and you mostly don't interact with them. It sounds like she's willing to be patient and let it take time, and to try a variety of things. She probably gets frustrated and sad, and unlike other posters, I definitely think getting texts like, "Look, when you're gone he's so much happier," is cruel. I also can't figure out how long you've had the cat. If it's less than 6 months, I'd say that you're jumping the gun. Honestly, this sounds way more like you just aren't into her and are mad that she isn't listening to you. I get it. It's aggravating when you objectively know more than your partner and they don't listen. But you seem to be taking all this frustration and anger at her not behaving correctly and focusing it into this laser beam of not getting the cat to like you properly. I mean, I've tamed up more than a dozen angry babies and a half-dozen shy adults, and I can't tell you what the proper way to get a cat to like you is. All cats are different. Some need to be ignored, others need mandatory petting time. Some flourish with long-distance play and interaction. Others need food bribes and only food bribes. Some just take time no matter what. What makes you so sure that you're right and her friends are wrong? When did you become an expert on taming up semi-feral babies? You and your girlfriend should be treating this like a team effort, supporting each other and trying to find solutions, and you should acknowledge that getting rejected by an animal hurts a little, and also bruises the ego a bit. Instead, you seem to be doubling down on knowing the right way and just having a wayward girlfriend. Break up with her because you don't like her, not because your cat doesn't. Update: would I be the a-hole if I broke up with my girlfriend over my cat's mental health? I've got a couple requests for an update, and to be honest, I could have given an update the night after it happened, but I didn't want to post too much if something changed. I'm sorry for ducking out of the thread early too. I read the first 400 or so comments and wanted to respond and give information to some of the folks asking, but I didn't really have the time since she found the thread. I tried to obfuscate enough details so that this wouldn't happen, but it's a unique situation and it got pretty popular, and I think one of her friends clued her in. I hope no other new pet parents had to explain this thread to their significant others. Some of you were asking for specific instances of abuse, and to be honest, I didn't really think she was abusing him. I just thought that the way she was interacting with him might be more suitable for another cat. Molly did wonderfully with our previous cat, but she was a different cat. My original plan was to sit down with her and try to have one more honest conversation about our cat's comfort level in this house. Something needed to be done before he turned into a nervous wreck. None of this happened, sadly. She came home and had it out with me about everything from the cat to some issues with her family, and circled back around to our previous cat, who she kind of accused me of killing. She had end-stage cancer and stopped eating and was having daily seizures. The vet encouraged us to put her to sleep. I'd rather not go into too much detail here, but you guys were right. Our relationship had a lot of problems, and adopting our cat just made them undeniable. I know some people accused my post of validation seeking, but honestly, it's difficult to tell things are bad when you're looking at the situation from the inside. Even if it was my fault, it's obviously time for things to end. She moved back in with her parents, and the silver lining is that she agreed to let me keep the kitty. She's been gone for about 2 weeks, and he's spending a lot more time out and about with me. Hopefully this continues. The funny part is that she's gonna see this post too. No one mentioned that she tried to gaslight OP. Even OP didn't really address that. He wanted to revoke the cat because she wasn't treating it right, and she tried to turn that around on him as if he was a bad animal owner. So much wrong right there. I don't think that's true. She was handling that cat differently than he wanted, but that's not gaslighting. It's the whole accusing him of killing the previous cat thing that's gaslighting. Also, I think it's less that she was handling the cat differently than he wanted, and more that she was handling the cat differently than the cat wanted to be handled. Cats give very clear signals of distress and stress if you know how to read them. He was just translating catlish, basically. Also, fun fact, that situation for a cat can lead to health problems, including malnutrition and dehydration, because they're too afraid to come out and eat. Honestly, I'm sorry you went through this, but it was the right thing. She obviously didn't know how to handle animals or respect your ideas. I'm glad you put the cat as a priority, and I'm sure they'll warm up to you more. Thanks. I do miss her, but we haven't had a lot of the good times that I miss. I'm looking forward to my future as a crazy cat dad. The best kind of dad. Little F literally started scratching on the couch as I was typing. 2 giant cat trees aren't enough, apparently. Posted by user Hostage Lulla. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not sharing my prize with a mentally handicapped person in a contest? Every summer, my community has a cook-off competition. Usually about 20 to 30 individuals or couples try to cook XYZ, and then they can try and win a portion of the entry ticket fees while the rest goes into the community parks. It's not summer yet, but they decided to do it early. This year was pasta sauce. I've been going to these for years, ever since my wife and I moved here, but this is the first time I entered as a competitor. It was earlier today. One of the other competitors, I know her somewhat, only in passing, is a 15 or 16-year-old with Asperger's syndrome and autism. I don't know much about this competition, evidently. I'll call her Jessica. I guess a lot of people got wind of her being a part of the competition that we had news crews here taping her to put on the news. We've never had this before as far as I know. To make the story short, I won the competition and $1,500. There's no second or third place prize, it's winner takes all. My wife and I were in shock because I like to think of myself as a decent home cook and take pride in my pasta sauce specifically. But to win a contest? We were tickled pink. We celebrated for about 20 minutes when the event organizers came up to us. You might be able to guess where this was going, but they asked if we'd give our prize to Jessica as a gesture of goodwill. They said they'd get some publicity since news reporters are here. We obviously said no. $1,500 is a lot of money. So then they'd asked if we'd like to split it 50-50 with Jessica. Likewise, we said no. I guess some nearby patrons overheard the conversation and chimed in. Apparently, we're a-holes and jerks for not sharing the prize at least. After a few moments, there might have been 10 other people all clamoring to us about how we're a disgrace to the community, etc. We had to leave and haven't collected our winnings yet. We are meant to tomorrow from the mayor's office. I can't even imagine what's going to happen tomorrow. Are we the a-holes for not splitting our winnings with a disabled child for a cooking competition? I'm going to go with no for this one. I can see how they're trying to stir up drama and anger or hatred, but do we want to treat people with Asperger's and autism differently? Do we want to make them feel like they need special privileges and that even if they don't win competitions like this, we have to give them a split of the prize money because the news wants to see it? Don't you think that reflects on everyone poorly? I don't know. I feel like if I was the Aspergic and autistic person in this situation, I wouldn't want that put on me. I feel like that wouldn't be fair either way. If they won the competition fair and square, that's all good. But I'm not sure what kind of story you're trying to put out there by saying, you know what, she didn't win the competition, but the winners did split their prize 50-50 because they felt bad for her. That's not nice. That's not something I want to see in my local news. I don't think you're the a-holes for not splitting your winnings. I think you have a mob of angry idiots after you. That's my take. It might be wrong. It might be right. Who knows? It's just an opinion. Not the a-hole. You want it fair and square. It's super patronizing to say that she should get a prize despite not winning just because she has Asperger's. Why are they not blaming the judges? I think the event organizers and the judges are different people here. It sounds like the judges gave OP the win fair and square, while the event organizers, reporters, and event goers pressured OP and OP's wife to give or split the money with the young woman with ASD. Right. So why are all those people tramping at OP doing so when they should be over in the judges' tent tramping at the judges? Or is there a second mob over there already and they want to make sure all the tramping bases are covered? People will always find a reason to be upset, especially when there's serious money involved. Guarantee most of the whingers were salty that they didn't have $1,500 in their pockets. Also guarantee they would all have had the same reaction as OP if they were the ones being asked to give up the winnings. Exactly. They wouldn't cast the first stone with that cash in their pockets. Not the a-hole. You're all welcome to open your wallets right now and pull a prize together for her. I'll wait, guys. This is always my first thought in this type of, why don't you give your prize to X because Y? A-holes like that are so free to offer other people's money, but empty wallets whenever they get cold on it. I can think of a few scourges more common or personally aggravating than this attitude of being charitable with other people's money. Being charitable with other people's money. Great way to put it. The event organizers could give her more money, create a door prize for good publicity, and put it under marketing and brand management. But they can't take it out of the first prize winning. Update. Am I the a-hole for not sharing my prize with a mentally handicapped person in a contest? My wife went yesterday to collect our winnings, and they shorted her $500. My wife is of the timid type and didn't want a conflict, so she took the reduced winnings and had a few choice words, but otherwise didn't contest it. They gave the rest to Jessica. They made up a fake story to her that they made a second place prize on the spot and Jessica won it, thanks to the generosity of my wife and I. This was all bogus. We made a post on our community Facebook page saying that we had a great time at the competition, but didn't appreciate the comments we received or how we were treated. I guess Jessica's family got wind of this and contacted my wife to meet up earlier today. Jessica's family gave us the money back and, while they were excited at first, couldn't take it under false pretenses. They found it condescending to give Jessica a prize just for having ASD. It was a joint decision between Jessica and her parents. We talked a bit and learned Jessica only joined because she's writing a cookbook for an Asperger's syndrome organization. She's apparently an avid cook and has trouble keeping everything consistent every time, so it's half for her and half for this organization. Part of why she went to the competition is to raise awareness of the cookbook itself, as well as ASD and ASS, and hopefully win, of course. We didn't know any of this at all, and I guess this is why the organizers wanted good PR. My wife asked her if there was anything she could do, and she can. She's going to help out where she can, or if Jessica needs assistance. Things like editing, photography, etc., and I guess everything turned out okay for everyone in the end, except my contempt for the competition organizers. And PSS, yes, I know mentally handicapped isn't the right verbiage. I've learned a lot about ASD in the last few days. I only kept it to be congruent with the previous post. Autism and Asperger's in particular may not always or ever be a mental handicap. I should have said disabled instead, judging by a few comments. They found it condescending to give Jessica a prize just for having ASD. Those are some good-as parents right there. Glad everything turned out okay. Also, whoever organised the competition are the true a-holes here. Yeah, no kidding. It is condescending, and it didn't sound like they did it for Jessica. It sounds like they did it for PR, which is honestly so gross. Glad her parents spoke to you. They sound like awesome people. And since OP didn't even know about Jessica's project, I imagine they could have actually gotten great PR and awareness in one swoop by organising the event better in the first place. I know, right? Seemingly they knew this beforehand and didn't expect the judges to not rule for her. They could have just made a small boost prize and promote her writing her book and cover the costs of 10 or so books to give out to participants. Yeah, but that's not inspiration porn enough for them, probably. And this is precisely why inspiration porn is so upsetting. Even if it's not this egregiously corrupt, people just want to look and feel good. They don't truly care about the individual they're speaking for. Like I said in the original post, I have Asperger's, and pity is super insulting. We want people to understand, not pity us. By definition, we aren't stupid, we just struggle with some things. Executive function and sensory overload are common issues, but our IQs are either average or above average. We know when someone is being condescending. Good on those parents. But seriously? The event organizer could not afford $500 extra winnings if they so desperately needed to give her the second place? Thumbs up to the parent though. This was my question too. If they wanted to give her something, the organizers should have paid for it alone. Also, I think it's kind of crappy that the organizers only wanted to give money to her because she was on the spectrum and they wanted publicity for her winning. Okay, and I think that's where we're going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something from these stories. Just want to say a quick shout out to my Patreon subscribers and my channel members. You guys should be on the screen right now. If you do see yourself, I want you to give yourself a little pat on the back for being amazing and supporting me on this channel, this little journey we're going on the YouTubes. I really appreciate it, and you guys enabled me to do all this amazing work. So if you do see yourself, I love your face and I'm happy to see you. Also guys, if you want to pitch in your own support, you don't have to, but channel links are down in the description below to support the Patreon, the channel membership, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like tipping me if you feel like I'm doing a good job on this channel. I will be opening up avenues for content on those in the future. Just right now I'm kind of bogged down and stuck in Ireland, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway guys, with that said, I do hope you have a wonderful day today. Whatever you're up to, I'd love to know down in the comments below. I do hope you have a good day, night, sleep. Whatever you're up to today, tell me, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Bye.